Again, Asha Mankowska, and I have an amazing business panel for you today. We are missing our co-host Regina Bergman, that really was the one that invited all these powerful ladies to the show. And I know she's going to be with us spiritually. She's absolutely powerful executive consultant, profit growth expert, and I will have a chance to share more about her in the future. I just wanted to say that, Regina, we are thinking of you. And now let's introduce the ladies. So, first and foremost, Sherry Knight. Sherry Knight, welcome to the stage. Please share a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you, Ash. I appreciate that. Well, here in Canada, because that's where I'm from, so many of you are from the States this morning. Fabulous. We have hot weather here too. Absolutely too hot today, close to 100 degrees. So
Wow.
really something. But in terms of business, what I do is I work with entrepreneurs and corporations in terms of helping them build their business from the perspective of people, performance, and profits. Without profits, there's no sense in having a business. So you
Love
and
it.
I talked before about revenue. Revenue is wonderful. We love revenue, but it does not a business make.
Absolutely. Like we said, revenue feeds your ego. Revenue
Love it.
doesn't feed your growth, your family, right?
That's
Your team.
you bet. You bet.
Only profitability. Thank you so much. And who are you helping, Sherry?
I work with those entrepreneurs and those corporations who want to make sure that they have everything in place. Big thing that's missing in most places is a system. And those,
Mm.
variety of systems, right? Finance is just one system. Another system is making sure that you have your HR in place. That's my background actually, is the HR aspect, and helping people be the best they can be. And we're talking here today about mindset. And without the proper mindset, it is more difficult to achieve those kinds of goals that you're after.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sherry. Now, um, let's welcome Shana Mavis, the one and only. Hello, hello, Shana. Tell us a little bit about yourself now.
Well, thank you. Now I'm kind of embarrassed, the one and only. um, I am a seed stage business advisor. So I have called myself the coach for business, not to be confused as the only coach for business. I believe that I have this space where I work with business owners that are new and aspiring. That's where they need the most grace and understanding. That's where they're confused. They are, working, doing so many things without seeing the needle move, without seeing any, fruits of their labors come to fruition. And so I work with them to help reduce that overwhelm, to help them step into that space of grace and watch that ripple out, because I believe that truly once they they extend grace to themselves, it's going to ripple out and they'll extend it to family members, to friends, to employees. It will just offer them the ability to grow. And we talk about. I'm excited to talk about mindset more and more, because there is a lot of that in there. There is the naysayers that speak into them, and so it's combating that, helping them to understand that not everyone was given a vision, and the fact that you have, we can uncover that, we can articulate that, we can help you move toward that, but it does require that shift in mindset that we're going to uncover today. So um, that's a little bit about me.
Love it. Thank you so much, Shana. Oh, I have some background noise coming from somewhere. So, um, ladies, and last but not least, let's add to stage Linda Fisk, right? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Tell us a
so
little
much,
bit about
Asha.
you.
Thank you so much, Asha. It's a pleasure being here, and with these other extraordinary leaders. It's a heck of a panel that you put together. These are women who have so much to offer, so much to teach and coach and train, and really the collective wisdom just in this panel is pretty astonishing. And I love the mission and vision of these other two amazing ladies, really based on helping women accelerate their success. Really, if I were to boil down their mission, their vision, their purpose in each of their businesses, it sounds very aligned with our mission, vision, purpose, which is to accelerate the success of women. And so, thank you so much for gathering all of us together to talk about that incredibly important work. So, thank you, Asha.
It's my pleasure, Linda, but all the credits are due literally to our one and only Regina that couldn't make it today. Our beautiful co-host that is absolutely amazing collaborator and a great leader herself that connected us with each other. So we have that opportunity to share and inspire and contribute to all the CEOs, business owners, corporations, team members, employers, employees, not only to their business mindset, but also to their life attitudes, right? So I'm very grateful that you ladies can join me this morning. I know the hurricane stopped a few to even join, but it is what it is. But Regina, we're thinking of you, and I know you are staying safe and sound. So kisses to you, and great gratitude for introducing us all together so we can really come here and inspire this morning. Ladies, a few words about me. I'm recognized by Forbes magazine, international business mentor, executive mentor. Um, well, not only journalist, PR, but also an attorney. More so like a Renaissance woman, I will say, because I just recently became also a doctor of alternative medicine. So now I can practice internationally. I'm telling you, it's been fun learning opportunity, but I am really grateful to have that. And I do a lot of keynote speaking in amazing international universities as Harvard, Yale, conferences. And I work mostly with multiple 6, 7, 8 figures and above entrepreneurs that are really wanted to create multi-million dollars corporations, businesses. And I have strong belief that they can do it right here, right now in this ecosystem and this landscape, because there is such some abundance of opportunities, right? Right now. And it's really up to us, our attitudes, how we going to approach that. So that's why this platform, Accelerated Profits Masters, is dedicated to inspire everyone to create their own dreams, to make them come true right now, either is business or wealth, health, luxurious trips or whatever that's going to be. But we are here to impact the whole world and contribute. That's my vision and mission for this platform, for my business as well. So we can not only survive, but thrive in any economy at the moment. So that's why I really want to focus today panel, and I would love your wisdom if you can share with our audience what is for you having a prosperity mindset or profitability mindset in business as a leader, right? And how do you see that being reflected in your businesses, in your relationships? What are the results that you are noticing in your life? Please go ahead. Who will be first?
I'll start. I would say that having a prosperity mindset to me is very much aligned with having a growth mindset. And if I were to really encapsulate the definition of a growth mindset or a prosperity mindset, It's about recognizing that regardless of the outcome, everything is a learning opportunity. So regardless of whether or not you're able to achieve the outcome that you initially sort of sought and that you are trying to work towards, whether or not that final destination comes to be in the first try or the 10th try, the good news is that you're learning along the way. And if you adopt every experience as simply a learning opportunity, then there's no shame, there's no blame, there's no self-defeating kinds of thought patterns. It really is very much based on what have I learned through this experience and how can I get better next time? And so part of the growth mindset to me is also recognizing that there will be additional opportunities, additional initiatives to capitalize on what you learn, to be able to go farther. And I feel that the growth mindset is really based on erasing the concept of failure and instead replacing that with the opportunity to see everything as a learning moment. And in fact, I heard once that fear really stands for fail. It stands for first attempt in learning. So there is no real failure. It's simply your first attempt in learning. And so by really embracing this idea that there is no shame, blame, there is no concept like failure, it erases the fear and allows you to continue to grow and develop as a professional, as a person. And to me, that is the crux of both a growth mindset as well as a prosperity mindset.
But I believe in what you're saying, Linda. And yet, as a leader, as someone who's been in business for 44 years, helping other people do exactly what you're saying, there are days when I fall off the wagon. And I have to remind myself that it's okay, that things are improving, that things are being learned, because I forget. When something nasty happens, I have to really sit back and think and then get myself reorganized before I can help others.
And I love that. To me, it's pretty much what Shauna said. It's the combination of grit and grace. It's the combination of having grit, so you are persistent in a long-term purpose, mission, vision, but you have the grace to forgive yourself and others as you make missteps along the way. You have the opportunity to be gracious to yourself when you don't meet your goals and expectations, when there's been a misstep or there's been a tremendous, spectacular failure. Being able to forgive yourself and yet stay committed to the outcome, I think, is really what matters. And Shanna, you said it so beautifully. It is the combination of grit but grace.
Yeah, for me, I was excited to hear your answers because I co-host a show called the Better Your Business Show, and we're about to launch a different show, still catering towards small business owners, but that are really questioning a lot of what they're doing. And there are so many times that we, or at least I know I have, taken a step back and said, is this the right thing? Am I following the right path for myself? That it's so difficult because I lose sight of the fact that it's possible. I lose sight of my vision for this business, for prosperity. And it's not just about, I think, Asha, you were saying, it's not just about money. It's not just about revenue. Prosperity means so much more than that. But a lot of us, and I know for me, growing up without a lot of money, you get caught up in that. You don't really think about the fact that you see so much more, that there's a way out, that there is understanding, and you're not expected to know everything. Plus, you're not intended to do this alone. The fact that, many of us are isolated or will isolate ourselves, and it's easier to listen to all of the negative self-talk. It's easy to believe that hype that is within you from your past, instead of looking ahead at this vision that you've been given and saying, okay, this is possible. I do see how this could happen. I can make it. I can be one of the ones that's different. I am built different. I am set apart. There's just a difference in the mindset. And so for me, I am thankful for my co-host, Natalie Essman, She always catches me when I say something that it goes against this prosperity mindset, this abundance mindset. She's like, wait, wait, wait. Do you realize what you just said? And I don't many of the times. And I think that so many solopreneurs, entrepreneurs fall into that same trap of not even realizing that we've conditioned ourselves to believe that there's not enough, that there's no abundance out there. We on one side can say, absolutely, I can see how it can be done, and I can, I'll do this, I'll do that. But then when things get tough and we're isolated, we're by ourselves, we forget about that, and then we revert to old habits of, I don't see how it can be done. I can't do it. And I'm so hard on myself, and I failed. And I agree with you, Linda. One of the guys that started the show for us, Carlton Hoskins, he famously said, failure is not required. And I truly believe that. I grabbed a hold of that, and I was just like, yeah, you're absolutely right, because you may fall, but that doesn't mean that you failed. You've learned something, right? And you can apply that. It's what you're going to do with that following this misstep that you've made. And it's accepting the grace.
Exactly what you said too, Shanna, in that it is about being grateful for the journey, being grateful for the learning, being grateful for every little success that you've been able to achieve along the way. And when you get caught in any kind of negative mindset, it's a matter of, hang on, what do I have to be grateful for today? I'm grateful that I was bold enough to have this vision and mission. I'm grateful that I've met some people along the way who have cheered me on. I'm grateful that I have a community surrounding me that lifts me up, that sets my path straight. I am grateful that I have the knowledge and the experience and the expertise to be able to enact this vision, even if it doesn't happen in the next 12 months, it can happen in the next 12 years. And I'm grateful for that. So I feel like changing your mindset from one of lack, not having enough, focused on all the missteps, all the shortcomings, all the failures, to one of, and look what I've still been able to achieve in spite of that. Look at what I've been able to do regardless of the circumstances. I think that really changes the narrative and changes the attitude.
Yeah,
it does. Sure. I think one of the things that you said there, Linda, is really critical, because many people still don't have that. And that is the words, I am. I am whatever. I am grateful for this, grateful for that, grateful for the other, but also that aspect that says, because it goes into the subconscious that way. And we all think about us as being these conscious beings. Well, unfortunately, it's the consciousness that usually gets us in trouble. And it's the unconscious aspect that picks up from that. And that's the one that says, oh, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too thin. Whatever the problem is that we perceive, we need to make adjustments to that. And those words, I am, make a tremendous difference to us.
As long as what's on the end of that I am is positive.
Exactly. The thing is, we have to be aware of that. And I know when I'm working, we're all familiar with SMART goals. I add an S to that, because I really believe that we have to sell ourselves on the positiveness of what we achieve. And therefore, I call it celebrate. And that is looking at all the senses and looking at what it is that we are going to be doing once we've achieved success. Whether it's, just as simple as a bubble bath, maybe, if we're all females. I don't know, maybe men do that too, I'm not sure. But, it doesn't have to be big and dirty. It doesn't have to be exciting. It needs to be, what is it that we're focused on, so that once we do achieve this wonderful goal that we've set, it helps us get there. And it goes back from, in my mind, to many, many years ago, our football team brought in a sports psychologist. And one of the things that he did was have all of the members of the team put tape on their ring finger when they won the Grey Cup here in Canada. So The whole team did that. And one day he's sitting in the stands watching as they practice, and he sees something happen, and he runs down and he speaks to the coach, and he said, "John, what was it that you told that young man?" And he said, "Well, I told him not to miss." And he said, "Well, you told him exactly what to do, because our brain is slow in picking up the negatives, right? It takes us longer to digest that word. And we have to be careful with ourselves. Giving us those negative words, if you just addressed there, Linda, when we give the negative words, that negative isn't addressed. And so into the subconscious goes, yeah, don't smoke. Oh, smoke. Don't eat that cherry flavored whatever. Oh, eat that cherry. We have to be really careful about what it is we tell ourselves. So important for that. Yeah.
I absolutely love what you all shared. Thank you so much for all this wisdom. And Sherry, I love the I am. When I go for a walk, meditate, or hike in between my meetings, literally, I say to myself right now, I am, creator, the highest creator. I am prosperity. I am the highest profitability, right? So I am wealth. I am everything that I want to embody
Perfect.
right now. But and that's super powerful. We don't even realize, because then we bypassing our ego, our conscious mind, and we're like, okay, skip. So then we do not give in into the procrastination, into the programming beliefs that we were probably stuck in, that Shana was mentioning before, right? Because like when my clients sometimes asking me, how do we come up to this prosperity, profitability mindset? How do we change? It's a difficult shift, because it's a shift of priorities, of programming that we've been getting used to since maybe childhood, right? Because I did not meet a person that was already born with the prosperity and profitability mindset since the toddler. Maybe you ladies met, I haven't. So when they ask me how do I do that, well, it's not easy, right? What you have to do first and foremost, never give up and take action. Are you going to stumble? Are you going to maybe crash or make wrong decisions, make mistakes? Yes, you will. And that's fantastic, because that's exactly how we're going to learn. And that's okay, right? What Shana was saying, make it okay. I know it's so hard sometimes when we make that shift and we had a bad day, like Sherry mentioned, right? And we have lack of community. What do I do? What do I do now? Okay, refocus, right? Refocus not on the money, but if we forget about ourselves sometimes, most of the times, really, and we focus on the contribution to the world, to our clients. We making our businesses, ourselves, client centric. We are focusing or adding value.
Mhm.
We're not thinking, oh, maybe someone else do something better. Who cares? We will still attract the perfect clientele for us, the perfect family, the perfect support, the perfect tribe for us, right?
And at the same time, I think it's
Defining it.
bumpy.
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the fun.
and so in that bumpiness, it can be hard to,
Mm.
as Sherry said earlier, it can be hard to find those words of affirmation that feel credible, that feel real. So saying to yourself, I am enough, I am smart, I am resourceful, I am creative. Those things at times will feel false. So in those times where I simply don't have that reservoir of resilience to say, even in the midst of this failure, I know I am enough. A lot of times what helps, and as a psychologist, we would often train our clients in this method of cognitive behavioral therapy, is we would actually say, where is the evidence to indicate that that's true, and where is the evidence to indicate that there's something that's not true about that. So as someone is saying, God, I'm so stupid, I'm so inept, I'm so incompetent, I should have seen that, I should have known that, then we stop and say, where's the evidence to indicate that's always true? Tell me a time where it's not true that you are incompetent or ill-equipped, and that forces the person to say, well, yesterday somebody did tell me that my advice and guidance really created an impact for them. And, this morning I was on a podcast. I feel like I was able to contribute and I was able to offer some thoughts that might be useful. And, yesterday. And so it's the evidence in your life that begins to create that reality that, in fact, I do have impact. And yes, in fact, I am resourceful. But it's really reflecting on those moments that indicate that your mission, your vision, your purpose is well-founded because you're capable.
I love exactly what you said, Linda, because a mindset doesn't just appear. Mindset is not just affirmation, right?
Right.
It comes from well-founded results that we look at every single day. But what is required, it is innovation, change, and taking consistent action every single step of the way, every single day, right? If we don't take action, if we do not take the risk, and it's not from out of desperation or out of fear, scarcity mentality, oh my goodness, right? No, it's from the confidence that I will figure it out, right? No matter if whatever says I can do it, they're right. Whatever says I cannot do it, they're right too, right? We already know that. And this is how we prove to ourselves, hey, you know what? I have great results, like you said. In the moment of darkness, in the moment of doubts and feeling vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
No, we are not all superhumans. We are humans with emotions that, and the business world is just a bumpy ride, like you said. And it can be every single day, especially with this volatile economy right now and complexities that we have to all juggle at the same time. But not staying in the cave, not staying under the rock, right? But removing all that limitations, taking actions, focusing on what else I can do, checking my data, calculating, doing the research, our due diligence. What can I do? How can I contribute right now? What type of change can I implement? That's the word, implement, not just think about. Visualization
Critical.
is absolutely crucial. I do not undermine that. But visualization, taking inspired action, implementing, and then looking at the data of our results.
And I think based on what you're saying there, Asha, I think one of the things that we sometimes are not even conscious of is that I always say from 0 to 7, we go out and learn everything there is. So, our parents, our teachers, our clergy, our friends, they instill in us beliefs that we have about ourselves. And then as we get older, we go out to prove that they lied to us.
I know.
Right?
How dare you?
And sometimes we find out they didn't lie to us. They were very honest. But we do that experimentation to figure out who we are and who we want to be. And then as we get older, and especially when we get into business, one of the things that we forget to look at is when something doesn't go the way we thought it should, the way we wanted it to, we have to remember that that little person, the 3 or the 4 or the 5 or 6-year-old, had an experience that put that into the subconscious that said, oh, Sherry, you're not really good at whatever. Or, oh, Sherry, you're really great at this. Because then as adults, we can poo-poo an idea or we can live with it. But too often we forget to look back and go, was that really true? Is that a belief I have that makes sense now at whatever age I am? Or is that belief something that I should get rid of and replace with a different belief? So, yeah, I really believe in that.
Well, and it's also not being afraid to challenge those beliefs. You know, it's so difficult sometimes. We accept things instead of challenging them, and there's no harm in that. There's no harm in looking at things from this transparent lens, from this space of vulnerability, of accepting that I don't know everything, but this doesn't seem right. Let me look into this. Let me seek advice. Let me be okay with saying to someone, hey, help me understand that. We frequently forget to do that step and just keep moving forward, which makes it, I think, a little bit more difficult for us to get out of these negative mindsets because we're just accepting incorrect beliefs.
I love that. That's so smart. But you both said something that I want to double click on. And you both mentioned, this idea of community and checking in with others to verify whether or not the beliefs that we have about ourselves are well-founded, whether or not there's verification to prove that that belief is real or not. And, that's one of the reasons why I believe that every woman needs to plug into a community of people that will give her objective, unbiased feedback about ideas, plans, initiatives, but also be surrounded by a community of women that will cheer them on, that will lift them up, that will give them good counsel, that will open up doors for them, give them access to resources and tools and connections that they really need to accelerate their success. And that's really the founding idea for Leadership Global. It's a community of 10,000 women that are there to help ensure that every single woman around the world has access to the resources and tools and connections and media platforms and funding sources that they need to actually, as you said, Asha, take action, take that next step, actually implement. And sometimes simply being surrounded by people who can reflect back to you who you really are is helpful. So I had a woman we have what we call leadership boards, which are similar to a mastermind. And we had a woman who's ridiculously successful. She makes well over $100 million a year, actually confess in this very sacred, sort of confidential environment, very safe, confidential, private environment, say, I feel like I'm failing at everything I touch. And we said, okay, let's reflect back to you who you really are. And let me tell you how you show up for me. Let me tell you how you show up for your business. Let me tell you how you show up for the other women in Leadership Global. Let me remind you of who you really are. And occasionally you need that to battle those self-doubts or to battle those times of disappointment. And I feel like the more that we can surround ourselves with people that are really going to reflect back to us and remind us of who we really are, the more resilience we're going to have along the path.
Well, and you're putting that in a very positive experience there, Linda. I'll share with you an experience I had. I was very young. I was in the PR field at that particular time, and I had to attend a lot of receptions. So I went to this one reception, went to the bar, got my drink, stood there, looked around. And as I'm standing there, an individual that I know came up to me, male, and said, Sherry, you're just a snob. I was heartbroken. I went, whoa, like I'm a snob. And fortunately, I don't know where this came from. I had the sense to say to him, what am I doing? Why do you think I'm a snob? And he said, well, you walk in, you go, you get your drink, then you stand around to see who's good enough to talk to. And I went, wow. That's exactly what I did. Exactly what I did. Not the part about seeing who's good enough to talk to. I was scared. I didn't want to be rebuffed by going to, you know what it's like. You go to a crowd, 2 or 3 people, and they're standing there and they don't allow you. They don't shift the body to allow you in. I didn't want that. But in terms of what Asha's saying about the implementation and what Linda's saying about recognizing, allowing others to grow, that whole thing, I mean, I left in tears. But what it taught me was every time from then on that I went to a reception, I stood outside, I took a deep breath, I went in, I got my drink, and I looked for the first person who was standing by themselves and went over and said, "Hi, I'm Sherry," and started that conversation. But had that person not done that when I was in my early 20s, imagine where I might be today.
Yeah.
So the very negativeness of it allowed me to seek a new way and implement something different so that no longer am I appearing to be a snob. So
Sorry, I don't think it was your negativeness. I want to
Right.
challenge that now, because it was your attitude to the negative events, to the judgment that you had to face of that man. He judged you, or
oh yeah,
whoever person that was, right? And make assumptions. And we will meet that type of people all around. They will judge us, make assumptions, and that's totally fine. But then we have to remember, is this me or that's their issue? It's that their fear, their actually perception of themselves. So they
could be.
projecting it on you, possibly, right? What I want
It's
to point out, what you've done about this, you use this as a fuel
mhm.
of complete transformation and change, right? That's the prosperity, profitability mindset, that you think, okay, how can I completely innovate myself, my behavior? What can I apply into my life? So next time I will have amazing inspiration. I will be the influencer. I will be the change maker in the world, right? So that was the fuel that you've done, and I'm super proud of you. I think we all experience something like that, but it's not about what happened to us, it's what we'll do about this. And just what
Right.
Linda mentioned, the community, that is so crucial for
it,
us
it
to
is.
give us this non-judgmental opinion about us, where we have safety zone, right, where we are not afraid to become vulnerable, where we can be wrong, when we can make mistakes and learn from that, right? But also where we give the love we deserve, our worth and amazing value is pointed out to us, right? Reflected to us. I think that's most important, because we can have lower days, but
Mhm.
if we have so many men, women, whoever we have in our support group, sharing, what you're talking about, you are so amazing, look what you've done, right, to me, what type of change you made into my life,
Well,
that's
I
one
also
of the
think that some of it is being intentional and purposeful of the people that you surround yourself with too.
Yes,
oh,
for
Right?
sure, for
100%.
sure.
So
Yes.
important to choose the people around you with
Yeah.
discretion. And that's
Mm.
also in Leadership Global, everyone goes through an interview process to make sure that they're going to treat all women with respect and dignity, and they see all women as worthy, no matter where they live in the world, no matter their language, their culture, their belief system, their religion. It doesn't matter. All women
Right.
need to be treated as worthy and valuable, because they are. And so we actually do a very, I think, in-depth screening to ensure that we're creating a culture, we're creating an
Right.
environment where women do feel safe and where they can really thrive. And it's so important to be intentional, whether you have your own personal board of directors, your own council of friends, or you join a community. You need to be intentional about that so that you feel safe, so that you can be really vulnerable and open. Because listen, growth only happens if you're able to tell the truth and receive feedback that continues to amplify your value, that continues to extend the purpose and the mission and vision of your life. And if you are surrounding yourself with people who are negative, who are going to reinforce all those insecurities that you may have, then that is deadly. But if you surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up, who are going to cheer you on, who are going to open up doors for you, who are going to be your cheerleader and your mentor and your coach, then that allows you to truly accelerate your success, as Sherry and Shauna both obviously do for women all around the world. They breathe life into those business plans and those business strategies. And I feel like surrounding yourself with a community of women that are ambitious and driven and talented and skilled, but need others to close those experience gaps. Listen, I have someone could say, I have built a business to 10 million, but I'm stuck. I don't know how to get to 100 million. Right. Someone else can step into that gap and say, I built a business of 100 million. And let me tell you what you need to be aware of as you're scaling. Be careful of these kinds of investments. Be careful of overextending in these ways. And so that kind of lived experience, I think, is just absolutely not just critical, it's invaluable along the way. It's not just a theoretical, MBA class. This is someone who's actually lived through the experience of growing and scaling a business and preparing it for exit. And there is so much gold in that person's lived experience. And tapping into that is a real privilege.
Well, and that picks, I'm sorry, Shauna, you were going to take.
No, go ahead.
It speaks to somebody I was working with yesterday, and they were very concerned about the word scale. Everybody's telling them they need to scale their business. And they said, but I don't want to have staff. And so we chatted about that because the word scale means different things to different people. And yes, want to scale the income, but don't necessarily want to scale how we get there. We want to do it differently. So it was really interesting, Linda, picking up on that I was the first person that ever talked to them about you don't have to have staff. And I'm thinking, wow, that's interesting. Yes, you need contractors, subcontractors, etc., but you don't have to have what everybody else says you have to have. You need to figure it out for yourself. So, Shanna, I'll turn it over to you. Sorry to interrupt.
I have been waiting because of your story. Just reminded me so much of when I was working for this company. An amazing experience. While I don't necessarily recommend the family mentality for a business because families are dysfunctional, I really grew a lot there. I learned, I had to go through this period. I tell people God was working on my pride situation, my ego. But during that time, one of the guys that I worked with, it was shortly after my husband passed away. And I thought I was doing okay. And he said to me one day, he was like, "You are so mean." And I hadn't even realized the shift in my attitude. It was understandable. I think that was my first recognition of grace, right? Because I don't know how long I had been, snippy at people, didn't care, honestly. I didn't care at the time, but it hit me because I was so used to being the one that everyone was just like, oh, she's so nice. She's so friendly. That was my mantra, but it was him and the group of people I worked with who are two of my best friends now. They worked for me, which I tell people, if you want to recognize the power of grace and accept feedback, work with your friends, because they will tell you. They will make sure that you understand. And I started to learn that not everything that was said to me was meant to hurt me. For some reason, I was taking all of that on personally. It was just like, and it was for my good. So I love that you turned that around and looked and said, hey, you're saying this to me and I'm appearing this way, but what can I do? How can I change the way that I am so that I don't appear that way, so that I show up as the person that I believe I am, right? For me, it was hearing, I can now step into spaces with anyone pretty much and be okay with hearing what they have to say and not taking that as there's something wrong with me, What it may mean is that if this is the way that I'm appearing, and really discerning between, is this your problem, or is this something that I truly need to work on? Because I'm fine either way. There's enough grace and understanding that says, okay, if you're saying this and with the intent to hurt me, it's not hurting me. It just may mean that we don't need to be in the same circle any longer. But if you're saying this because this is something you truly see that goes against who you know that I am, then I want to be aware of that. I want to present as this person that, my authentic self, where I do want to be known as that friendly, nice person, that's who I am.
Right.
And if you see any behavior in me that is counter to that, then please let me know. Being okay with that. So I loved hearing your story and hearing how you turned that around and what you started doing when you showed up. It was like, okay, let me go to make sure that no one else feels this way, that they are not standing alone, wondering, feeling prejudged, that they don't have to experience this intimidation and this fear that I've experienced walking into networking events. So I think that's amazing. And then Linda, when you were talking about the businesses, we wanted to do this on the show, and so I definitely want to talk to you offline, because I truly believe the same thing. There are people who I look at, business owners. If you're in business for a year, you are a year farther than someone who's just starting out, and you've got wisdom and you've got experience, you've got things that you can offer them, stories that you can tell. Doesn't matter the industry, some of these principles are universal, right? No matter what business you're in, and your experience, your missteps, your successes will serve to help so many other people. We did a section on the show, the last half of the show, we started bringing in business owners for that purpose. We were like, all it's going to cost you is vulnerability and time. If you are open, then your story and your questions, because we had a panel of experts, it was like, hey, ask your questions. We're here to help you grow your business, right? So be okay with where you are, what you've been through, because you are farther along than some, and those that are farther along than you can help you understand what it's going to take for you to get to this next level, right? So I love that you were talking about that.
And the other thing is, we have a team of coaches in Leadership Global, and there are finance coaches and business coaches and health coaches and public speaking coaches, and like, name it. And they're all handpicked, and they're all, they go through a screening. But when they work with members, the only requirement is you have to be honest and you have to be able to be transparent, because no one is going to grow by continuing to keep the veil of everything's just great up and running. So if you are constantly projecting that persona that, oh no, I'm perfect and I've got no issues and I have no problems and I have no challenges and I know all the answers, if that is your persona and you are absolutely dedicated to preserving that persona, then your opportunity for growth is limited. But if you're willing to drop the persona and you're willing to say, there are some things I haven't experienced, and there are some things that I'm not an expert in, and there are some things that you can actually teach me, then that coaching relationship that we create in Leadership Global has the air and room to flourish. And for us to see that leader take that next step in their advancement, right? Now, I don't do the teaching, the coaching, the training, any of that. I shine a spotlight on women who have so much to offer, whether it's business coaching or growth or scale or exit, or, listen, as women, we are an integrated operator. What happens at home affects our business. What happens in business affects our home life, our significant relationships, the way that we interact with our children, our community. And everything is personal. When you're a business owner, a business founder, everything is personal. So this doesn't just relate to your business. This relates to your entire being, how you are with your family, how you are with your kids. You said you lost your husband. I'm so very sorry to hear that. That is a tragedy that I don't wish for anyone, especially someone as young as you, Shanna. So, that affects your business, as you just said. It affected your business relationships, right? So we deal with the whole person because we know that what happens in your home, whether you're going to a divorce, or maybe you're just getting married, or maybe you found out you're pregnant, or maybe you just gave birth to your first child, or whatever it is, that is going to affect your business. So we look at the whole person. I have women coming to me every single week saying, I need to dissolve my business partnership. I don't know what to do. I need to divorce my spouse and I'm really scared. My son or daughter is having mental illness issues and I don't know where to go. Why are they coming to me? Because we care about the whole person and we care about what's happening in all aspects of their life. Because listen, as an entrepreneur, it's all the same. It's our life. It's our life.
Life has an interesting way of creeping up on us. And situations happen. And one of the things that I say to my clients is, as always, remember when you have a problem, half of the people out there are thrilled you have problems. The other half really don't care. So internalize it, think about it, and let it go because nobody else matters. It's important to look at things from our own perspective, what we want out of it, as opposed to what others do. And having that team, as you say, Linda, and Shanna, you as well, having that team around you really makes a tremendous difference because that's the team that supports you through those tough times.
Yeah, I agree. And again, as a business owner, business founder, entrepreneur, the ladies that I work with are, they are dealing with real life stuff. But as you just suggested, Sherry, when they think that they are failing and they think, gosh, I wasn't on time with my social media schedule, or I should have had this marketing campaign out in the marketplace, or I should have already developed that sales funnel and I'm not there yet. I say, you are the only person that knows that. No one else is paying attention. No
And we
one
don't
else
need
knows, and no one else is paying attention. I got to tell you, I could be off social media for the next year. I don't know that anybody would notice. It doesn't matter that much. They're
good
too
be.
focused on what's going on in their own social media world. They're not paying attention to me. So I just continue to believe that we are our own worst critic. And we are also the ones placing the majority of that pressure on ourselves. And by the way, it doesn't matter as much to everyone else as we think it does,
Right.
because everybody has their own life that they're running. They have their own challenges that they're facing, and they're focused on them, right? Not you. They are not focused on you.
And we can always stop shoulding on ourselves. Yes, I should do this, I should do that, I should do the other. Yeah. Either do it or don't do it.
Ladies, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom. We are almost on the top of our hour. So, just to wrap up this phenomenal discussion, I want to really thank you for all your vulnerability, all your wisdom, sharing most difficult, inspirational stories that you went through. And it's all about continuous learning that will take us to the efficiency and the highest productivity in the end of the day. Because if we have the mindset of profitability and prosperity, we will always being focused on the long-term vision versus just short gains, right? And that's exactly when that is the core of our decision making, risk taking, and success decisions. That is completely a different story. And having wonderful, supportive community like you ladies in our lives, being the influencers, being the leaders that sharing, inspiring, and are not afraid to speak up about all that and about importance of these experiences is so crucial. So I want to thank you again, and let's take a minute to maybe share how our audience can connect with you, how they can find you, and maybe have this further conversation somewhere else as well, offline. And if you do have right now any gift
She said a storm was coming, so.
Right, she did. Maybe what she wants us to do is put in the chat box our contact info. Does that make sense?
And she's
Yes,
back.
yes. Yeah, you know what? I literally just had my storm started. So I see my internet is being affected. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why let's wrap it up. So yes, please, if you can share how to connect with you and any gift for our audience, that will be fantastic before I completely get kicked out.
I will put that in.
Do you want it
Well,
in the
you
comments
can
or the private chat?
no. If you can share it, we still live. So if you
Verbally.
can
Yeah.
share it
Okay.
with our yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Linda Fisk. I am the chairwoman of Lead Her Ship Global, and the best way to get in touch with me is email. And it's super easy because it's my first name and the name of my company. It's Linda at Lead Her Ship Global. So leadhershipglobal.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, but I also try to be very responsive on all social channels, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My favorite's LinkedIn, though, and everyone can find me and Lead Her Ship Global on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Sherry Knight, and you can connect with me at sherry@dimension11.com. So look forward to hearing from you. What I have for you, if you're interested, is I have a checklist on how to look at getting a consultant or getting a coach. Checklist to be able to do it right so that you choose the person that's best for you.
I need
Love
that.
it. So valuable. Sherry. Yeah. Thank you so much, Shanna.
Shanna Mavis. You can reach me at Shanna, SHANNA, at thecoach4business.com. So it's all spelled out. Or on social media channels, it's actually the coach for the number for biz. So, but likely email is going to be your best bet. I am not on social media all that much. It is a necessary evil. But I will check it eventually. My email I check daily. So Shanna at thecoachforbusiness.com.
Love that.
Thank you so much, Shanna. And again, it's Asha Mankowska at Accelerated Profits Masters for you. And obviously, I do have a gift for you. The relatable reason to connect with me is whenever you want to know how to double, triple your profits in a few minutes. Schedule a quick call with myself or with one of my team members, and we can take a look at your business and see how to improve it and implement that. Again, implementation is the keyword in the 90 days or less, right? Bold promise, getting results. So I really thank you, ladies, for such a phenomenal discussion and showing up today against any situations, technology issues, and showing up for our audience, inspiring, giving your charisma, your wisdom. And I hope it was very valuable. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you. So, right now, I will just give some outro music for a minute, and then I will see you backstage. Thank you so much.